Ending violence against women and girls.
Sonya McMullan, Regional Services Manager at Women's Aid Federation, Northern Ireland.
Reflecting back, what has been some of the key challenges to tackling men's violence against women and girls in Northern Ireland?
I think one of the key challenges that we had in Northern Ireland was that we had strategies that in no way recognised the gendered analysis of violence against women and girls, or should I say men's violence against women and girls. All of our strategies, the first one 14 years ago, tackling violence at home, was very generic, gender neutral. Our government wanted services that were gender neutral, and Women's Aid created a helpline in 1995 called the Women's Aid Helpline, and it was a service for women. In 2019 we lost that because it went out to tender. It had to be available, open and available for men and for women as well. So there was a lack of recognition of specialised services as well across Northern Ireland. Everyone deserves specialised services, women and men. But we need a government to start looking at all of these issues, crimes that disproportionately affect women and girls, and we need them to start looking at it through a gendered lens. How do we know what we need to fund, who we need to support, and what services are available unless we have a really good data set and the breakdown very specifically around women and girls who are, experiencing rape, experiencing serious sexual assault, experiencing domestic abuse, and all the other harassment, and other crimes that they face. But if we don't have the data, to recognise that, we don't know what we're dealing with, and that's very, very poor here in Northern Ireland at the moment. So we need to start everybody looking at things through a gendered lens.
How can organisations or groups support women and girls facing men's violence?
Across Northern Ireland, over the last number of years, with the introduction and starting to discuss this subject matter more, it has been something that within Women's Aid, we're a lobbying and campaigning organisation. We always feel that starting those conversations is a place that you have to, start the conversations within families, within communities, within society. We're trying to tackle this whole issue by changing attitudes to male violence against women and girls. We no longer should live in a society where women are fearful to walk down the street, to go out on their own, that kind of thing. But we have to recognise as well that women are most in danger in their own homes, behind closed doors, and that should be a place where it should be safe for all women, children, young people. But unfortunately, in relation to domestic abuse, for example, look at the high rate of femicide that we have here in Northern Ireland. This part of the world should not be proud of having some of the highest rates of femicide and domestic abuse, and we really need to support all organisations across the country. If we look at Safe Leave, for example, as a piece of legislation, a really good initiative, allowing, employers hopefully will have to have mandatory training, policies in place to look at domestic abuse, employers' guides, employees' guides, starting the conversation in the workplace, which will go very far in supporting people, knowing that they're able to talk about what's going on at home, some of the most difficult things that there are to discuss, to be able to have that space and have provisions in place as well. But it's up to each and every one of us. All of us have a place to play, and we all need to do something. We all need to call it out. We need to challenge it. And we talk about bystander, but that has to be done in a safe way. We all need to be upstanding, and we need to challenge this problem, because we all have sisters, mothers, aunties, and the reality is at the moment Northern Ireland is not a safe place for women and girls.
Looking forward, what is needed next for tackling men's violence against women and girls?
Looking forward, we need to develop what we've already worked on in relation to the new violence against women and girls strategy, and we welcome that. It's come through the Executive Office. Our Deputy First Minister and First Minister have shown clear leadership and commitment to that, but we need all of our executive to be, allies and to be talking about it, to having a real commitment to ending violence against women and girls. The Executive Office have committed £3 million over the next 2 years. It simply isn't enough. We have been under-resourced for far too long compared to the South and the rest of the UK. In the South at the moment, they have developed their new strategy for gender-based violence, as they call it, and there's over €60 million has been introduced, with over 50 million going to central services and frontline services. We know they have a lot of building to do, and it's not completely comparable, but the figure, so much more money. In the UK as well, they're going on to 3, 4, 5 different, strategies for violence against women and girls. And they have that language of VOG, they have VOG sectors. We don't have that language, because back to what I said earlier around the issue of looking at things through a gendered lens, we simply haven't done that here. Everything has been gender neutral, nothing has been allowed to be specialised, and we simply aren't giving the people who need the support they need through specialised services. So moving forward, strong leadership, allyship as well, resourcing too, and developing strong partnerships between all of our community, because as I said previously, we all can do something.